You know I love bringing you great new series. I have another one for you, so don't go anywhere.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
That makes me a dancer.
For those of you who don't know this song, it's a little LA theme from the 80s. My gold blue eyes. LA is my lady. LA is my gentleman. LA is my dog, my cat. It's everything. Hello, welcome to Spotlight On. I'm your host, James Lott Jr. And like I told you, I like to bring you people who are making great series out there on the web, on PlayStation, on Amazon, everywhere. And I love discovering new series. And I binge watched about half of it last night. And I'm hooked.
Yay!
I felt like I was intruding. Even the way you focus about the way you film it. It's very, very, very interesting. Okay. Actor, writer, director, creator, photographer, artist, creative, strong woman, talent, Emmy nominated, okay, folks? The series is called Conversations in LA, and its creator is Anne Marie Cummings.
Hello.
Hi, Anne Marie.
Wow, what an introduction.
See? I took care of you. Yes. I love a woman with two names. I love that. Anne Marie, I like that.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You can follow us on iTunes and YouTube. All of our Spotlight Ons are there under AfterBuzz TV. They're all there. And of course, you can follow me at James Lott Jr. And you can follow you at Immediate Vision.
Immediate Vision.
And there's a Converse in LA Twitter. There's that too. Make sure we get all those going. Mm-hmm. Follow all that stuff. Follow it. And the series is at conversationsinla.com. But we're going to talk about that in a second. But okay, first of all, I want to know what it feels like. I ask every person I interview about Emmys.
Okay.
Because everybody's experience is different. First, how'd you find out?
Via email, and there was a press release that went out, and the folks that I was in touch with in New York, they sent me an email and they said, oh, you know, you might want to just take a look at this press release because the website is, you know, people couldn't get on, I guess, because everyone was just, oh, I need to find out. So I was so glad that they sent that to me. And I saw, and it was great, and you know, exciting.
Because you're doing a series.
Yes.
So you're doing a series. You're in the trenches. Again, you created this. You're directing it. You're producing it. You're starring in it.
Yep.
With the hot gentleman that
my co-star, Gustavo Velasquez, dreamy.
So good looking. It's like. How? Okay, we'll get to him. We'll get to him in a second. Because he's a producer, so I wonder how you lucked out you got him.
Yeah.
And he's a good actor too. But we'll talk about him in a sec.
Okay.
And he also got nominated for an Emmy too, and so did Vanita Harbor too. They all got nominated.
Right.
But you're doing a series. You're working on it. You're busy in the trenches. You know, the day to day, making sure the lighting is happening, and you're on budget for this.
Yeah.
I'm sure winning an Emmy or nominated for an Emmy or any of that stuff just was not even in the realm of possibility, was it?
Well, I mean,
our thoughts.
It wasn't. You know, I back in December when we submitted everything, I was like, okay, you know, I mean, I know my work and I know the materials, so I felt that we certainly had a chance. But I was surprised, and we're in the middle of shooting season 2, it was like, oh my God, I have to, you know, I had to shoot the day before the Emmys, and then, you know, the day after, you know, we had to prepare for another shoot. So it was like, get the dress and get,
oh my God,
you know, all this other preparation, which I wasn't ready for. But you know, we made room for it, of course, because it was such an honor. Can we
show those two pictures? I saw you just pull out. And show the first one. And this is the cat, part of the cast. Gustavo's not in here, and you're just behind the scenes. And a nice little doggy, a little dog. So cute. Now there's the poster, folks.
There's our season 1 poster.
Oh, I just could stare at that all day long. Millennial meets menopause. We'll talk about that in a second too. I just wrote a blog today on age, actually.
Oh.
In LA. But I just could stare at that. But you both look hot in that picture. First of all.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
I was like, you both working it out. But I mean, but it's interesting because Emmy is the highest forming in any kind of television realm, and this is a newer category. This was the daytime digital
drama series.
Yes. So this is something they actually are starting to bend now to what's happening out there.
Right, which was very exciting. I mean, I know that they are even thinking of expanding to the writing and directing categories, which is great. And, you know, the supporting actress category was new just this year, which was great for Vanita.
Yeah, it's because you're seeing it happen. You're part of the, we are too, part of the change. Television doesn't just mean channels 4, 7, 2, 4, 7, 11.
Exactly.
It means all this stuff.
Right. You know, and so that's why I knew once we were going in the direction of a series, I knew that we needed to create the website, just create our own, basically it's like our own channel.
Yeah.
You know, because iTunes has everything. It has the photos, it has the trailer, but here people just go right to the site and that's it. Yeah.
It is. It's really good. Now, okay, so 14 episodes. They're all about under 10 minutes long. So it's the standard web series format. Where it's
for season one.
Yeah, for season one. And it's, like I said, I watched a bunch of them last night. I was like, wow. Okay, here's some of my thoughts.
Okay.
And so I wrote some of my notes down. Some of my thoughts. Beautifully shot. Like the shots are beautiful. Great music to use.
Thank you.
Great locations.
Great.
I was a couple of early episodes. I was like, I love Venice. I love this area. I love these areas. I saw things I liked. You use real language.
Yeah.
It was like, there were times I was like, oh, okay. I got caught back and it was like, but this is real life. Like, they're actual conversations. I got it after I started watching 3 or 4 episodes. Like, okay, now I really get it. And we'll delve into all. I'm just giving you my thoughts in the beginning. Hot man, of course. Great cast. You're amazing in it.
Thank you.
I mean, amazing in it. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, she's also producing and she's like directing and she's like she's doing all these things at the same time. But you're acting, you would never know you were thinking about anything else.
Right.
Great job. I mean, great job.
Thank you.
And I feel like I was intruding in some of the episodes, especially episode 2, which to me has some real dialogue, like some real use of language in there, and the way it's shot. I don't want to give too much away, of course, for you to watch the series, but I'll just tell you, this one section is basically in the car,
shot from behind.
From behind, like I'm sitting in the back seat,
right?
And I'm sitting in the back seat, and I'm like, okay, sitting here watching them have this. First, they're having this just talk. Then they're having an argument. Then they're kind of making up, and then they're getting in the argument. It was like,
and then there's almost a car crash.
Right. So like it's so real, but it's so realistic. Like I've been in that situation before. You know, it was like I feel like I'm like, should I get out the car? I mean, I'm at home on my computer watching. I feel like I should be watching this. Like it's kind of, was that your intention?
Right. You know, I mean, okay, so, you know, I come from the theater.
Yes.
I'm a New Yorker. I've been in the theater forever, and I moved out to LA 2 years ago, and so this has been a slow progression for me of how to take that feeling from the stage, because I did a lot of two-hander plays.
Oh, okay.
And so, you know, when you're on stage for 2 hours with another person, and it's just, you're going and going, that's 100 pages, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I wanted to, I mean, there's nothing better for actors that you're in it like that. So I was like, how do I create that for episodic work? And my first thing was, okay, we just have to keep going. We have to just keep it going like the stage. But then I had the challenge of, how do I make this interesting cinematography? And so, you know, I'm working with cinematographers, and we're, you know, Sebastian Heinrich, he shot season 1, and so it was a lot of camera rehearsal time.
Wow.
You know, I have to map it out in my head, like exactly when is that camera going to turn here, and when is it going to turn, and what's the style of the camera? Is it going to be fast? Is it going to be slow? When is the whip pan happening? And you know, so a lot of, and do we want to get the street, you know, in the front?
Yeah,
do we want to get the people? Do we want to get the traffic? What time of day should this be at? You know, a lot of it, I just see it in my head.
Woo.
You know, when I write it, I see it. And then I'm like, okay, this is how I see it. Let's make it happen if we can, based on what I see in my mind.
Yeah, because and all that stuff. Because then nothing makes that scene going, yeah, because you did see some of the street. There are certain times we looked out the window. Because it's not the traditional 3-camera setup where you have the wide shot, then you have their reaction shot, your reaction shot, them together. Like, you don't have all that.
No, and it's just, I think that, you know, conversations just go.
Yes, they do.
So a conversation, to me, is not interrupted. So that was another element to this. I'm like, how do I get this going without the interruption? So it has to be interesting cinematography, and a lot of it is time of day and location. I mean, I can't begin to tell you, I do spend a lot of time looking at locations.
Wow.
You know, I live in the beach community, so
Love it.
Yay!
Me too.
But I drive around and I look at this place, I look at that place, and I'm like, this is what I see. And because I'm the writer and the creator, it kind of works for me to be doing some of that, because it's like, I want to find what I see in my mind.
Makes sense. Yes, and like I said, there's time, like some of the room shots. There's an episode outside of an elevator. I mean, like it's just you found some really interesting places to have the conversations in LA.
Right. But a lot of people have conversations in a back room, and
They do.
and I wanted to create that sort of voyeuristic feeling.
Oh, you got it.
So I think that behind, a lot of cinematographers were saying to me before I worked with Sebastian, they were like, I would never shoot this in the back of the car. You should shoot it in the front. I'm like, we've seen that 1,000 times. I don't want to do what we've seen 1,000 times. So I'm always looking for, like right now on Wednesday, we're shooting an entire scene from above. And so it's like, and it's a bedroom scene, but it's like all shot from above. And so the cinematographer, Roland Andrew Miller, he's like, so wait a minute, you mean my platform and my plane is just like this? And I'm like, no, it's like this and it's like this. It's like up and down and it's like this. And he's like, oh my God, how am I gonna? And I'm like, this is the challenge, but this is what makes it interesting.
Yes. No, you're right, because we have seen some of the same shots before over and over again. Shooting from behind, that just going from that one episode I was talking about, or even in the episode I'm talking about with the elevator, you do some shots in front too. But it's like it's shot in a way that is still interesting. It didn't take away from any of the conversation.
Right.
You still, shot the one behind, you still got the fight.
Right.
You still got the makeup. You still got you got the kissing. Everything happened.
Right.
And it really didn't affect any of how it was.
No. I mean, I think what makes it work too is it's choreographed, so that it's not, because I mean, we look at the takes over and over, and we always are trying to better the work. Okay, the actor should do this in this moment. The the camera should move up at this moment, or it should move around. And so we're always perfecting this work. It's fun. It's most definitely very difficult to do.
Sure.
You would think, because a lot of people are like, well, it's the editor. He's like, well, I don't have to cut. It's easy. But all the other stuff behind it, it's hard for me sometimes to watch shows without it now, because this is how I see it. But I get a lot of I'm a fan of the old TV show Homicide. And when you look at that, you see a lot of those one takes or long takes. A lot of films do it today.
Well,
too.
they do, and actually back in the day when we had longer attention spans, they did allow for that. And now it's more cutaways, or at least cutaway. So set up this for 2 minutes, get to the next shot. Then there's an exposition, the next shot. It's all very fast.
Right, but then that's my challenge as the writer, is like, how do I keep people's attention as a writer for 10 or 15 minutes?
See, I think you do, because conversations are fascinating, and I think it also helps to have people you can look at on television that look good too, or look interesting. Sometimes they look interesting. They'll keep your attention. But I think with the acting, like I said, people go to plays all the time. I mean, the theater is still big.
Right.
People will pay to see it on screen, like on TV. It can be done also.
Yes, it can. You just have to be smart about it. And we rehearse.
Oh wow.
We really, I rehearse as if we're on stage.
Okay.
So maybe not as many, but for one episode we have sometimes 10 rehearsals.
Okay.
10 2 to 4 hour rehearsals.
Wow.
And so, we're really working this. And so every moment, the actor is there, and every moment is filled with something. I mean, a lot of richness, I think, is happening behind our eyes.
I see it.
A lot's going on.
I know. Hello, there's like addiction. Okay, we're gonna show a trailer. And this trailer is going to encapsulate a lot of things that are going on this show. There's a lot. Because when I went into it, I was thinking, oh, it's going to be just this relationship thing. And it's much more than that. This show. Let's go.
I've been enjoying myself.
Enjoying yourself. Having fun.
And What time in my life are you referring to exactly?
Midlife. You're having a midlife crisis.
You know what?
I've had hot flashes. It's not fun.
I'm really bad.
Ugh. You have a very interesting cast of characters too.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
very interesting cast of characters. Everyone looks interesting, and they're all so good. There's so much going on. I'm looking at this trailer going, oh my god, I remember somebody said like there's so much going on in season 1.
When we meet their co-star.
I know, so, Rita is funny. She is good.
She is.
She's
wonderful.
She's good. And she's funny too. I love that shot.
Oh,
my god.
drone.
Oh, a drone. Oh, I'm
We
sorry.
used a drone there.
Wow. Okay.
Well, what else would it be?
Yeah, I know. I guess so. I love that.
Lots of hot flashes.
Lots of hot flashes. But that's realistic also.
Mm-hmm.
Like you hit all the different things that go on in life right now. There's like everything.
The midlife.
The midlife. I'm there. I understand. It's if you guys can see, it's so good. Like it's so good. Because I'm in midlife. I can totally relate to some of the stuff that goes on.
Right.
I just had a birthday a few weeks ago. I'm 48. I have no problem saying that. I'm 48.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I'm like, there's things that happen for us that are different than someone in their 20s and 30s.
Yes.
Or in their 60s and 70s. Like
Right.
we really are in the middle, or kind of close to. Now people are living longer, close to the middle these days, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very specific time in your life when you're dealing with, you might be dealing with certainly menopause for women, and if you've gone through a divorce or if you're married, sustaining that marriage or finding a new relationship, I think, or in some cases, death of parents.
Yes.
Around this time,
Yes.
change of job,
Yes.
reevaluating your life, trying to figure out what it is that really makes you happy. All these things are that midlife experience.
So
who your
true.
friends are, who do you want to
Yes.
trust?
Yes.
Do you really care what other people think? Because in your 20s and 30s, it's like you
Yes.
really, there's a different energy.
There is.
But no, I think that Michelle, the character I wrote and the character I play, is somebody who's just going through all of these things all at once. And there is this young man that she meets who, she's not really looking for a relationship because she's so overburdened in a way with what she's going through.
And many of us go through that. I totally understand that.
Right. And it's kind of like, well, how do I make this work? And can it work?
Right. Because, one of the things about getting older, we know more, just naturally, because we live longer.
Right.
Which can hinder us sometimes.
Right.
And complicate things.
Yes.
Because we know stuff so we start questioning. When you're younger, you're just like, oh, I'll do it. Sure, why not?
Right.
I'll go do this and just whatever. Because you don't know yet. Well, now you're like, you've been through, like you said, you've been through a bunch of stuff at this point. In terms of relationships, at this point, you've been through at least a couple of big ones. You're thinking, okay, this person's coming along. It probably won't work because I know what happened before this, and I'm too old, or I'm not really that old, or I don't want to burden them because they're young. And it's just what you think about that you don't think about when you're in your 20s and 30s. Right.
But it's so interesting to put, because I don't think of this relationship between Michelle and Gus that Gustavo Velasquez plays. I don't think of this relationship as your typical older woman, younger man relationship, like the ones we've seen on a lot of shows, which is where the emphasis is on sex.
Right.
And in fact, it's almost the complete opposite.
Oh, it's very
here.
emotional.
He's looking for a woman who he can fall in love with. He's had the flings, he's had the affairs, he's been in love with women where it's all about their body, and that's pretty common for 20 and even 30-year-olds.
Yeah.
But he's looking for something deep, and she isn't really looking.
Yes.
And so it's like he's convincing her, and he's an old soul, so he's working really hard to convince her that he is somebody that she can be with, and they have a mental connection.
That's
it's not just I mean, they do connect physically and there's chemistry, but they connect mentally. And I think that, you know, what I love about this story is that, you know, it isn't, and this is of course a theme in this, is it's not just about, you know, age doesn't really matter. It's who you can connect with mentally. You know, that to me is in a way like my definition of soulmate.
Well, I'm learning that now. I'm actually learning. I've had to expand my range because you know, we get to this age. When you're younger, you probably date anybody, right? You just say whatever. You don't think about age so much.
Right.
But when you get older, I started doing this where I was dating within 5 years of myself. You know, give or like 5 years either direction. Yeah, that's fine.
Right.
That wasn't working out so much. So I was like, okay, I need to expand my circle, my sphere. So I have dated 20 years younger than me, and a couple times it wasn't good, but a couple times actually you're right. You find people who are just. I have friends who have older souls.
Right.
I'm a youthful person, kind of.
Yes, your
It met up.
energy. It does work. I mean, you know, I think that we really judge ourselves a lot, and I think people watching the show will relate to that.
Oh,
They'll
yeah.
be like, you know, how many times they talk themselves out of a relationship because they're like, wait, 20 years younger, what am I doing? I can't do this. And, you know, we see that in Michelle's friends.
Yes, you do.
You know, we see that, we'll see more of that in season 2.
Okay.
But, you know, it's just, you know, we have to get past, I think, a lot of that for ourselves and for others, because, I mean, you're cutting yourself short in a way if you don't let yourself be with somebody because you have a strong mental connection, but then suddenly this insecurity about age. I mean, I just think we really have placed way too much of an emphasis, and especially the reverse of an older woman with a younger man. I mean, it's so okay, so to speak, for an older man to be with a younger woman, but why isn't it okay, you know, for it to be the other way around?
That's the weirdest double standard, because you feel like it's still older person, younger person.
Right.
It shouldn't matter gender, but for some reason we tell, sorry, you're granny now. Go over there and find you're an older man.
Right.
I mean, like, what does that mean? But old men, you can find someone 20 years old.
I know.
And have babies and do whatever you want. It's like, what is that about?
There's a lot of, you know, I mean, you know, like, I'm single, and a lot of people will say to me that the exact same thing. You know, they'll be like, well, when are you going to settle down with a doctor? An older man who's a doctor. And I'm like, oh my God, please, can somebody please get me the barf bag? It's just because it's like, you know, you hear that all the time.
Yeah. Oh, I hear it too sometimes. I'm like, oh, I want somebody. I just want someone. I mean, I'm talking to people here and there, and there are various ages, but I really did. And watching your series, just relate to your series, I saw conversations. I was like, yeah, my friends did say that to me, and that happened over there, and I understand this, and that's I was conversation with Gus. I've had that because here's the deal, folks. The emotional attachment is really where the intimacy is. It's not the sex,
right?
And when people finally realize that and really get it, that you're getting somewhere, it's the emotional attachment that's harder to shake than sex.
Yeah, I mean, Gus and Michelle, they have that, and they get it right away. And I think a lot of people do meet that kind of person where they have it, but then again, it's like something goes off in their head. Society says, you know, and so I mean, that's one of the reasons I wanted to write this.
Yeah, where did this come out of you? It's just your life because you're thinking, yeah, I'm getting older, and I'm going to talk about. I want to have a conversation about this. You made it into a series.
No, so I was in upstate New York. I was living in the city, but then I moved to upstate New York, and I was running
where
in Ithaca. Actually.
Oh, okay. I just have a cousin who just graduated from Cornell.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So a lot of people from Cornell came to my theater company, our performances. It was awesome. So I was up there, and I knew that I was getting ready to move to Los Angeles because I had that itch. Like, my theater company even moved into a movie theater.
Oh, wow.
So I was sort of slowly moving in that direction.
Yeah.
I did actually have a dog that passed away.
Aww,
so
poor baby.
That kind of, so I wrote a piece called Conversations, and I was inspired by the playwright Carol Churchill. Okay. She wrote a play called Love and Information, which was a series of vignettes. None were related.
Oh, okay.
And I was inspired by her work, and so I started to write something called Conversations with characters that were continuous.
Okay.
And
good.
so I wrote a piece called Theo and Chloe about two people sitting in a veterinarian office talking about euthanizing their pets. And so when I moved to LA, and after I was doing work on my first feature, I got inspired, and I decided, okay, first of all, I need a reel, because I've spent all my time in the theater. I need a reel. So I took that, Theo and Chloe, and I changed it to Gus and Michelle, and then I placed it in the subway at the Expo train in Santa Monica. And so I started to just reshape and reconfigure. And then you have the character Michelle talking about, you know, the death of her dog. And so I used some of my personal and I weaved it into this story, which is now just kind of taken off into my imagination. You know.
You're amazing.
Thank you.
You are. No, your energy is just like, I can feel it. I feel like I want to start writing right now. I do. You're just amazing. And so to take this task of making it, because nowadays actors are doing this more and more now, and you're an actor. They're producing their own work. Do you feel like it is necessary these days, while you're waiting between gigs, to kind of always work on something, right? You should always work on something. You think that's kind of a...
You know, I'm the kind of person that at this point right now, I can say that I only want to do my work.
I love it. I love it.
You know, I know that I'm not, I mean, a lot of people that are actors are going on auditions, and they're, you know, they want to get roles in a Scorsese movie or whatever. But, you know, I feel like it's kind of always been me. I like to create my own content. I think of myself as a showrunner. I think of myself.
I believe it. I feel it from you.
I mean, this isn't the only TV show that I've created. I've developed another one, which I'm excited about.
Oh,
but
good.
Yeah.
Think you're saying no, anything? You tell us anything? Not yet.
Can't really say
It's
much
just
yet.
us. Nobody's here. It's just us.
It's just us, right? No, but that one is kind of, I can say this much. It's, you know, Conversations in LA is about the real intimate conversations,
it is.
And the other one is more. It's like the opposite of that.
Okay. Good to know.
That's as much as I'll say.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it. You'll have to come back on the show and we'll talk about it. But I'm looking forward to it.
It's another world.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, no, I mean, I really like, you know, some of my mentors, the people that I aspire to, Richard Linklater.
Oh, yeah.
Ed Burns.
Oh, yes. He's a good director and everything.
And he's an actor. I mean, I think of myself as an actor, writer, director.
Yeah.
I've worked on all of these different skills at various points in my life. You know, I was a professional actress for 12 years, and then I developed my directing skills kind of at the same time that I was developing my writing skills. So I see myself now at this stage in my life, like it's happening. It all is just, it happens. Yeah. It works for me. It's not something that I have to struggle with. And so I think, like I've said this before, but I think of myself at this point in my life, like, you know, when Jackson Pollock, the painter, hit the drip series phase of his career, that's kind of like what this feels like for me. I've hit a certain stride with my work.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. I love creating content.
Right.
And I create a lot of content.
And you write books.
I write books, and I do music
poetry.
And poetry. I do everything. And so I know how you feel. It just feels like I do my own stuff. I have my own web series out there, the things I do, and my radio shows I have. I like creating my own stuff. I'm with you, kind of. Like, I like that.
Yeah. I mean, when I think of Richard Linklater, you know, I know that he, you know, this is somebody who's really, he's very committed to his work.
Yes,
and
he is.
You know, that's what interests me. You know, I have to be, when you decide to do this kind of work, you have to be really honest with yourself. Like, what's really going to inspire me?
Yes.
And it's not to say that I wouldn't want to work with Martin Scorsese.
Oh, of course. If he calls, you'll answer the phone.
I'll answer.
And talk to him at least.
Right. But, you know, I know that this is my path.
Yeah. Being creator. And why not?
Right. Right.
Again, double standards. Men create all the time. There are a lot of women now who create also too, and so why not? You know, why not create your own content? So it isn't. I mean, I was joking a little, well, half joking because he is hot, Gustavo. But you had to find a good Gus, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So how did that? You had to find somebody who actually you could have chemistry with, probably physically on the screen, but also could act and can remember dialogue, like you said, the continuous way of all the pages. So how did you find him?
It's a pretty fascinating story. I mean, I almost think that, you know, because I'm very spiritual, and I almost think it was kind of like a sign from God or something.
Probably was.
Because I was sitting at a Starbucks with Vanita Harbour, who got the supporting actress Emmy nomination.
Yes.
And it was kind of a rainy day. In fact, it was like drizzling. We were sitting outside. We were going to sit inside, right?
Okay, yes.
And I was like, no, let's go outside. And we sat outside, and I was talking to her like I just wrote this scene, the Theo and Chloe scene that I changed it into Gus and Michelle. And I'm like, look, Vanita, I just moved to LA. I need this young actor to play this role. And she's like,
And you and Vanita are friends already?
We've been friends for 25 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We went to Carnegie Mellon University together.
Pittsburgh!
Woo!
I'll be there in 3 weeks. I love Pittsburgh.
Oh, doing a book?
Well, I also have homes there, family there. I know Pittsburgh. On the north side, Troy Hill, Spring Garden.
Nice.
I know all about Pittsburgh. I love Pittsburgh.
Love Pittsburgh.
So do
love
I.
Pittsburgh.
So you and Vanita were talking. So Vanita is telling you about somebody, I guess?
Well, so no, I'm just, Vanita was thinking, like, who could we get? And so I looked to my right, and I see this guy sitting across from this woman. They were reading from a play.
Oh, my God.
And they were right next, probably 5 feet away from me, right?
Yeah.
And I recognized the play. It was Clifford Odets' play, Golden Boy.
Okay, Odette,
and I was like, okay, 2 actors over there. And Vanita goes, you know what, I'm going to go get a refill. And I'm like, okay. And so I just kind of like kept my eye on them. And I got a vibe of some air of commitment. Something there was strong. And so, and I even remember Gustavo even looked at me at one point, probably 2 seconds, 3 seconds. And I decided, okay, now or never. So I literally, and I do not do this. I literally got up. I whipped out my business card. I walked over to the table.
My God. I love it. It's cheesy, but I guess it works.
I walked over to the table and I said, excuse me. And they both looked up at me like, yeah. And I was like, look, here's my business card.
my
and I
God.
gave them both my business card.
Okay.
I said, look, I'm a writer. I've written some material. I'm really interested in auditioning both of you. And they kind of just took my card and they go, okay. The next day, I get an email from Gustavo.
Okay.
And he sent me the link to his reel.
Okay.
And I watched it, and I found a few of those really, really strong, because when you're about to cast somebody or you want to audition somebody, you're looking for some genuine, real deal moments.
And when you watch this series, it makes sense. You need somebody who's going to be real authentic. Yes.
Real authentic.
Yes.
And sincere. And so I saw that, and I emailed him 10 pages, and I said, okay, let's meet. And he suggested Lemonade in Beverly Hills.
I love Lemonade.
I love Lemonade
Me too.
Big fan. And so we met. We sat outside. I auditioned him, right at a table there.
Wow.
And I just gave him notes several times, and he took them. He was malleable, and then that was it. I cast him.
That's so Hollywood.
Just like that. And, it wasn't, between us, we had to find our way in, and he kept saying to me early on in our process, after the first episode, after the second, after the third, because I didn't go into this thinking season. I was just doing scenes.
Oh, okay.
I was like, okay, I need this for my reel. And he was like, I need it for my reel too. But then I just kept doing more. And it was like, where are we headed here? And I'm like, I don't know, but just keep going with me.
How fun.
I don't know where we're headed, but let's keep going. And then by I think the 4th that we shot, I was like, oh my God, we have a series. We have a series here.
Wow.
It dawned on us. So it was really intense. I mean,
I want to talk about. I want to stop you there for a second because as I'm a life coach, and this is a teachable moment. What you just said is something that I said this morning to a client. Actually.
Oh, really?
You never know what's going to come out of something. So just do what you really want to do and let it evolve how it's going to.
Right.
You just did that.
I know. I kept saying to Gustavo, trust. Trust. Just trust this process. Because I know myself, and looking back, I mean, at my age, I kind of have I can say, I've done this. And sometimes many times actually, I throw myself into something and I don't know where it's going to go, but it takes me someplace, and it's usually someplace great.
Yeah, same here. I've had to trust the universe, trust the process, just trust myself, and just go, okay, if I don't like something, I can stop it. If I don't want to do it, I don't have to go that direction. I can turn that way instead of that way if I want to.
Right.
Trust your gut.
Right.
Trust your heart. And people don't do that enough, but you trust your heart because they'll tell you what's going on. But you never know when you start something, it can really turn into something really wonderful before you know it.
I know. And you know what? It's interesting that you brought up Trust Your Heart, because in the first episode, he whips out
Yes.
his favorite book when he meets Michelle, and it's a Paulo Coelho book, and he says, in Spanish, but he translates it for her.
It was in Spanish. It was great.
You should listen to your heart, because what else are you have to. I mean, what else do you listen to?
Well, people listen to other things. Their heads, their brains, their arms.
No.
It's like, no, the heart tells you everything.
The heart, if you're quiet, you can listen,
I know when to shut up. It's all the time. I know when to shut up.
Yeah.
I may say a little stronger than that, but we're just a family television. But I know when to shut up.
Yeah.
I try to do that, and I love that. So you found a good Gus. That's good. Because I was saying that could have been one of the hardest things you would have had to go through. Was trying to find.
And also, I'll say this. I come from, I went to Carnegie Mellon. I have a lot of experience. I've worked professionally on stage. I picked up somebody who's, he's been around, but he's essentially kind of new.
Yeah.
And so, a lot of people, similar to the story of an older woman, younger man, a lot of people were saying to me, Anne Marie, what, are you crazy? Taking a chance like that? And I'm like, no, because my heart tells me yes.
Yes. Well, it works.
Yeah.
It totally works. Okay, we got to talk about it because it is part and parcel of this series, the age thing.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting because I like the title for menopause, millennial meets menopause, because you're a woman. Actually, I was having someone's mention. I've been told to dye this 10,000 times. I'm like, no, I'm not dyeing it. I feel like it's my wisdom's in my beard because every gray hair I got, I earned. Mm-hmm. But we're told all the time in so many different ways we're done.
Yeah. You can, depends on your circle,
Yes.
Where you are. I think in Hollywood, that's the story that gets told over and over and over again. But I think that more women in Hollywood are breaking it.
They are.
Because I think actors have a longer span. And so,
Another double standard.
This particular time of life is, I think of it as a rebirth.
Me too.
As opposed to you're done. It is how you perceive your life versus, if you believe that
Right.
you're done, then fine, you're done.
Right.
But if you see it as, look at the careers of so many
Right.
amazing artists who just keep going. Look at Betty White.
Yeah, I know. Oh my gosh, she's amazing. But it's funny because I've interviewed Ed Asner. I've interviewed Eric Braeden, who's on Young and the Restless. They're in their 70s and 80s, sharp as tacks,
Right.
still working.
Yeah, and what's interesting? I'll say this. One of my closest friends, my dearest friends, she's 97 years old. She was on the script reading committee of my theater company, Millie Cooner, and she's in upstate New York. And, Millie is one of those women, like she knew Laurence Olivier.
Oh my God.
But, she is somebody whose brain is still extremely active. You can have the most intelligent conversation with her. So wise, so soulful of a person. And, very active in the community. It's not like,
Yeah. She's at home in a rocking chair.
Right,
going, I used to was. No, that's not happening.
No.
Yeah.
And I think that's changing just with the times, too.
Yeah, we're saying baby boomers are living. There's a lot of them. They're living longer. I'm Generation X, and we're living our lives. We're out there, and I think it's funny because sometimes it takes you 20 years as an adult,
right,
to find your footing.
Right. And also, this. Writing is very difficult, and I know that some people sort of hit their stride in their 20s, but. Especially if you want to be an actor, writer, director, and you want to be good at all of those things, you're not, you gotta
take time.
It takes time. Things take time.
Yeah.
And also, the industry itself is it's a hard industry, so you have to keep going.
No matter what.
You have to just keep going if this is what you love and what you enjoy and what you're good at.
I always say, stay in your lane. Keep going down that lane, go down that road, because eventually things are going to pop up for you. The ones that I feel like the ones that I've interviewed over 200 people at this point or whatever. They all kind of say the ones that are here longer, if you stay in it, just staying in it is you win.
Right.
Because you've been around for a while. Because you don't give up so easily. To me, if you give up, that means it wasn't your passion, and that's fine. That's totally fine. Find something else. But I know in other industries that I used to be a nurse and other things where this is the time I would start winding down, going towards retirement, going, okay, well, I'm gonna plan my next 10 years,
right,
and then I'll retire at 65. I mean, but in this profession, you really can't do that.
No, I mean, I think that you can take detours.
Yes.
And sometimes detours are just necessary because, everybody needs a little break.
Yes.
Even in my own career, when I was concentrating on playwriting, and I had a play Off-Broadway, I was working as a producer at an ad agency.
Wow.
I wasn't, we have to make a living. And
yes.
so, they're different. I've always been in the arts in some way. But you have to find your way, and you have to just find your footing in some way and not compare yourself to others because, it's not linear. No. It's just not a linear path.
No, it's not. You really can't. I'm glad you said that. You can't compare yourself to others because everyone has their own thing,
right,
and their own way, and the way to get to where they're going could be completely. You could both want the same thing at the end, but your path could be totally like this.
Right.
And it could work for both of you.
Right. Exactly.
Or not work for both of you. Either way. But it's like you can't really go, well, she did 2, 3, and 4 and got to 5. Well, that doesn't really.
No, and I think that when you are aligned with your heart and what your passion is, then you do take the time to sit with yourself and meditate and just think about where it is you're going, and not just sort of, okay, I'm just gonna do this willy-nilly, but think about what it is you really want, then and not pay attention to all the voices around you, then I do think you start to align with. I mean, I can't, when I left upstate New York, I left in the middle of a blizzard.
Oof.
And everyone said to me, because I had a house, they're like, first of all, you're crazy to go to LA. And then they were like, there's no way that you're going to sell your house in the middle of a blizzard. And the day after I left, I got an amazing offer, and that was it. It was kind of the way it was supposed to be.
I like people say, I would be like, you're crazy. Because I quit, I changed my life at 40. So it was 2008 when the recession was happening.
Yeah.
Obama was just getting in. Everything was a mess. And I was making $100,000 a year. I have no problem saying that. I was making $100,000 a year, working in insurance, hating it.
Yeah, no. I mean, Gustavo shared this link with me, Ethan Hawke, who also went to Carnegie Mellon. He's a wonderful actor and
writer.
Yes. A lot of people don't know that.
I know. Yeah.
And so he was just talking about how, make a fool of yourself. It doesn't matter. He was talking about how Richard Linklater, when he was selling, Boyhood, it's like, yeah, we're going to talk about, okay, for the next 13 years, I'm going to be shooting this. Could you imagine producers?
I know.
Rolling their eyes, but Richard Linklater stuck with it. And I can't tell you how many times in my career people have said, that's a crazy idea. That's absolutely crazy. But then it became the best thing for the next 6-7 years.
I have to say it for myself. I mean, we do it to ourselves. I've said to myself, certain things, I'm like, that's, maybe I'll do a little one-off. That's crazy. And it takes off.
Yeah.
Even we doubt ourselves. It's like, just do it.
Right. You can't second guess yourself. No. I've done this. I've seen it. When I was working with my theater company, I was a journalist, and I came up with this idea for a column called Instant Message. And it was interviewing young people, uncensored, talking about what was going on in their lives and written in a monologue format.
Wow.
And it became kind of a controversial piece, but it lasted for 6 years, and people were like, oh my God, I can't wait to read Instant Message. And these young people would talk about everything.
Wow.
Their eating disorders, their killing, one person who had killed somebody, bullying from both sides, being in love, being gay, being, living with divorced parents and everything. And at first, a lot of people thought, wow, that is just too much. I even got letters from,
oh my God.
I got letters from a group of teachers that were offended that I was giving voice to young people. Can you believe it? I mean, it's just, you see it all, and it's just, but still in my heart, I knew I was helping young people by letting them talk.
I feel so energized by you. I swear to God, I do. I feel like I'm gushing over you, but it's just that you have this presence about you. It's just there.
Thank you.
Of a creative presence. Maybe because I'm in a creative space right now.
Right, and you're
I'm feeling
a creator
it.
yourself.
Yeah, I'm feeling it right now because I just totally, I'm like, this is, yeah.
I
so
live
good.
and breathe this. This
Yeah.
is kind of my, I have this painting over my desk. A friend of mine made this beautiful painting of just sort of, it's kind of abstract. It's almost like a Picasso. Bright colors, fuchsia and purple, and a woman dancing. And I keep that over my desk because it's how I feel. I feel very much inspired every day. I look for inspiration every day. I look at art, I look at photography, I look at quotes, I read poetry.
Yeah.
I
have a garden. I garden.
Oh, and you garden. It's like whatever food inspires me to. Green juices inspire me.
Homegirl here has. Okay, here's the deal. She does photography, and she has a website. I think it was AnneMarieCummings.com.
Yep, Anne Marie Cummings.
I went to her last night. I was looking at all your pictures. She has pictures in different categories. There's one food and drink. Some of those drinks are so. I was like, oh my god.
Martinis.
Oh, I love martinis. They're so good. Oh my god, the way you were shooting them. But the ones I really, really enjoyed was your theater ones. Your photojournalism section was good too.
Yep.
So what is it about photography? Is it just another creative outlet? Because you do some really good photography.
Well, when I was working as a correspondent for the Gannett Company, the newspaper, and so I was a foodie, and I had a food column as well. I had several columns. So, I took pictures there, and I took pictures of people with my articles, and I kind of fell into that, but the camera, in a way, segued into what I'm doing now.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
It's like I started seeing in a different way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was with my theater company. I would take the pictures for the posters. I would take pictures of actors. I was always taking pictures, in rehearsal, outside of rehearsal. It was just to promote the work, but also, especially when you are asked to take photography for a newspaper, when you're asked to, and know people are going to look at it, you start to get good quick. You start to know that people are looking at your work, and besides, I just enjoy it. I find it very meditative. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll just spend an afternoon just with my camera walking around Venice, or going.
Wow, what a great spot to do that.
Yeah, or just going to Mar Vista and just. Photographing, and I think that also really helped me with the intros and the outros to the series, because I kind of stumbled upon that by accident. I was like, okay, when you live in New York City, you can see New York City if you want in a couple days.
Yeah, you can.
You can, not by foot, but you can. You can get around.
Yeah.
But LA, being new to LA, I'm like, okay, how do I show LA in this series? So that people they really know what LA is like. Because I had no idea when I moved here.
Wow.
I was like, what is LA? I've heard that there are 12 different neighborhoods. I've heard that there's a lot of traffic, but what is Los Angeles?
What is Los Angeles to you now that you've been here?
Well, that's one of the reasons why I was so happy to cast Gustavo, because it's very eclectic. I'm Veneta.
Yes.
It's eclectic. It's not... I'm half. My mother was. My mom was born in Spain.
Oh, okay.
So for me, and you see that there's some Spanish with English subtitles in season 1.
Yes.
I wanted some of that, and so because that's what, like, when I first got here, I went to Trader Joe's, and I think Trader Joe's is LA. Trader Joe's, you see everybody at Trader Joe's.
You do. That's very true. It works behind the scenes and in front of shopping.
It's everybody.
That's very true.
That feels like LA to me. But then you've got the neighborhoods, and you've got Beverly Hills and the gorgeous homes, but you've also got some of the
Boyle Heights, East LA.
It's
Eagle Rock, Highland Park.
And they all have their personalities.
They do.
And I think that was what excited me about, like, you know, sometimes I will shoot the intros and the outros, and it's a lot like when I just take a day for photography. So it's showing pockets of Los Angeles.
Well, no, I said I told you I literally wrote this down. Beautifully shot. I liked the way you angled Venice. I was like, I know where that is. I've been over there for me because I've been in LA. Like, oh, that's over here. I like the way you shot it because, again, I felt like I was coming into the neighborhood.
You know, it's interesting when season 1 first came out, a few of my friends were, and I was just flattered to death, but they would say, like, you know, this reminds me of Woody Allen of New York, but you're doing it of LA. And I was like, interesting. Well, first of all, thank you.
Yeah, hello, Woody Allen.
Yeah.
Yes.
But thank you, because that's, you know,
he really uses New York.
It's
in his stories.
Right. He uses New York, and I feel like I'm using LA in the best way I can.
Yeah.
You know.
What can we expect for season 2?
Season 2.
Because now it's a season. Now you know it's a season.
Now it's a series.
That's a series.
Now it's a series. Yeah, I know. I'm like, how did I get stuck with this? Oh my God! I'm gonna be doing this for the next probably 10 years.
You asked for it.
I know.
Right.
You asked the universe. Be prepared.
Yes. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So, season 2, I'll just start with the cast.
Okay.
We have, you know, look, I mean, people really like the work, so now we have more people expressing an interest.
I'm sure.
It's very exciting. We're working with Sterling Jones, who was in Lone Survivor with Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Alyssa Rodriguez, who plays Gus's sister from Compton, and she's amazing. She's done a lot of shows. Stephen and Melanie Rockwell, who play Michelle's brother and his wife.
Okay.
So we get to see my character's brother, which is interesting.
Yes.
We are continuing with Brett Benner, who plays Alex.
Yeah, he's good.
And he and actually his partner, Debbie Romano, are doing the casting.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep, and Leland B. Martin is playing a friend of Gus's. I won't say what kind of friend.
Okay.
But a friend.
Okay.
I'm sure I'm missing a few people, but you know, Rebecca Metz, who's on the TV show Shameless and Better Things. She plays the Gus and Michelle's couples therapist.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but story-wise, it goes deeper.
Okay.
It
So
gets
deeper conversations.
Deeper conversations, more complex, more dramatic, funny. Oh, and this is awesome. I wrote, we get to see Michelle in her pet loss therapy group.
Oh, wow.
And Jack Plotnick, who also
great actor, went to
Carnegie with me as well, was a roommate of mine.
Oh, how funny.
He is playing the pet loss therapist, Adam.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes. And then a couple other people, Chris Damiano and Tammy Tappan Damiano, and Mark Lewis plays a movie star and that Michelle meets in the pet loss therapy group. It's really great fun.
Yeah, it's so exciting. This series is so good.
Thank you.
I want the best success for you in everything.
Thank you.
And,
you too.
Thank you. But I really, you've inspired me today.
Thank you.
It's
yeah,
really
I mean, I think that it's important to look for people who. Like a friend of mine she was saying that she was interviewing people. She's a teacher, and she was interviewing people, and it was like, how do we find that right person? Who do we decide? And she's like, well, this one really, really, really inspires me, and this one has everything. They have it all on paper. And I'm like, well, go with who really inspires you.
Exactly. Not everything on paper is good, as we know. Not all money's good money. All the same things they say is so true. I'm fortunate I get to interview people, and some people I learn also. I get from it also with some people. It's a nice feeling to have that, and I get that with Miss Anne Marie Cummings. Of course, the show is called Conversations in LA. Season 1 is all up. You can go to conversationsla.com for that. There's a YouTube page. There's only episode 1 on there and the trailer.
Right, just the pilot.
It's a pilot, so that's fine. But go to conversationsinla.com for that. And on Twitter, go to Converse in LA. Go ahead and like that. It's in there. She's at, and again, you're at Immediate Vision. I like that, Immediate Vision. On Twitter, she's on there, and that. She has Immediate Vision, I guess. It's crazy. And I'd say her website, AnneMarieCummings.com, she's doing great photography on there. So check that out also. And you have to come back with your next series.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure.
This has been awesome.
Thank you. You guys, we're on iTunes. We're on YouTube. We're on SoundCloud. We're on my pages. We're everywhere. This is AfterBuzz TV. Of course, the Spotlight on. Go ahead and like us, rate us, go on there. Her interview's going to be on there too. But I'll still be on all my Twitter handles, and I'm tagged her in all the things, so she'll be on her Twitter page too. I'm at James Lott Jr. Of course, and Jr. is spelled out on Twitter. But James Lott Jr. everywhere else in the universe. Go ahead and find me and follow me in all my different projects that I'm doing there too. But of course, AfterBuzz TV, we have lots of Spotlight ons, and I've done a bunch of them. You can check those out and watch those. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.